Now it's on. Hello, my name is Rabbi Jordana Chernow-Reader, and it is my honor to be here with you today. I'm here to talk about the connection between Judaism and the environment, because Judaism has a very deep and meaningful connection with it, and our responsibility to care for it. So I want to begin today by telling you that I think everybody should eat what they please. And this will be relevant in a minute, I promise. I would never, ever tell anybody what to put in their bodies. This has happened to me before, and I know it's super irritating. But I do want to explain how my decision about what I eat is greatly impacted by my Jewish values and my connection to the earth. You see, I stopped eating red meat when I was in high school and became a vegetarian in college. So this goes back a long, long way for me, long before I was ever a rabbi. Now, another really important fact about me is I am from Los Angeles. Although I have now lived in Indianapolis for 3 years, I will always, always consider myself a Californian. Any of you the same? There we go. Have any of you ever driven up the coast of California? So you might know there's a very, very beautiful route that you can take, the 101 or the 1. And it is some of the most beautiful coastline in the world, in my opinion. The first wedding I ever did after being ordained as a rabbi was on a beach in Malibu just before sunset. As I drove home that day, a school of dolphins swam by. So I thought this was a good omen for the wedding couple and for myself, and was truly one of the most picturesque things that you can imagine. So if you know California, you know there are 2 ways to get up the coast. There's this incredibly beautiful coastline, which is full of ocean views and cute little small towns. It is the perfect road if you are not in a hurry, and if you have the time to appreciate the scenery all around you. When you think of California, this is probably what you picture. So now, if you want to get up to Northern California quickly, you take the other route. So picture that incredibly beautiful, lovely coast with all the cute towns and ocean views. Now get that out of your mind. The other one is Highway 5, and truly some of the ugliest parts of the entire state. There is nothing to see at all. It is not a pleasant drive, but it does get you there quickly. Growing up, my family would often drive up to Northern California to visit family or friends. Later, we ended up working and going to and attending a sleepaway camp up there, so we did this a lot. So one trip when I was in high school, my family and I took the ugly road, the Highway 5. And along this road, there are cow farms. So picture just all of these cows just smushed together, standing there looking really, really sad. And it's smelly, and it's yucky, and it's gross. And so we went to lunch, and by mistake, I ordered a hamburger. I could not eat my hamburger, so I spent the entire meal apologizing to it for having ordered it. But do not worry, I did enjoy my milkshake and my French fries, so I did not starve. But for me, that was the end of my time eating meat. In college, I double majored with environmental studies and political studies, and my main interest was in the overlap between the two. I really wanted to know how environmental policies were crafted, and even got a master's in exactly this field. During this time in college, I stopped eating meat altogether. And as I said, this decision works for me, but I would never, ever tell anybody else what to do. My husband hoped that my vegetarian phase would end when I became pregnant, which it did not. But he and my children do happily eat meat. My poor son is here sick today, and he loves his hamburgers, so, it all works out. But I tell you this whole long story about what I eat because it really is this connection between Judaism and what I eat and the earth. As Jews, we have a lot of rules about what we eat. It is something called keeping kosher, in which we do not mix in milk and meat together. Therefore, we do not have cheeseburgers, we do not have pepperoni pizza. We also do not eat pork or shellfish, so no crab cakes or bacon for us. And there are several reasons for this practice. In part, we keep kosher because that is what we're instructed to do in the Bible. In part because this food understanding comes from long ago when there was not refrigeration as there is today. And without the technology, people had to be very careful about what they eat. And partly because it was about rules for treating animals sensitively and lovingly and with care. And in partly, it was all about appreciating the wonders of the world around us. As Reform Jews, we do not necessarily follow the rules of keeping kosher exactly as they were written, but many of us keep some way of keeping kosher in our daily lives. What I find the most compelling thing about keeping kosher is the connection, the daily reminder for me to appreciate the earth, the daily reminder of the holiness about the natural environment and our duty to protect us. As Jews, our connection to the earth goes all the way back to Genesis 1. So thank you for that lovely reading of it this morning. I will just very quickly summarize it as we heard so lovingly. These famous words, which begin in Genesis 1, when God was about to create the heaven and earth, and it goes lovingly through each and every single day. The last thing that God created was people, and each day God added more and more wonders to the earth. God created order from chaos. And at the end of each day, God paused and looked around and saw that it was good and resumes creation the very next day. In the second creation narrative, God creates man from dust, from the breath from the soil, and breathes the breath of life into man. In this version, God planted the Garden of Eden, and after creation of the animals, God realizes that man needs a partner, so God creates Eve. We know that things sometimes go a bit awry later from Adam and Eve, but in this context, what's important is that God gives very specific instructions to people. The text read, "So God Adonai took the man, placing him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to till it, to keep it." These Hebrew words can be translated a few different ways, such as tilling and tending, or working and protecting. Whichever parts of this story work for you, or whichever verbs are most meaningful to you, the important thing is that we were created to be stewards of the earth and to care for it. While there are some other instructions in the text that we are supposed to dominate the earth, that often means that we are supposed to take what we need, but still do our very, very best to preserve the earth around us. Caring for the earth is so important in the Bible that we are instructed not to destroy trees even during times of war. Deuteronomy 20:19 reads, "When you wage war against a city, you have to besiege it a long time in order to capture it. You may eat of the trees, but you may not cut them down." So even in these darkest of times, even the darkest of circumstances, we are still reminded to protect and care for the earth. Many of our Jewish holidays are linked with the agricultural and seasonal seasons of the year. One of my very favorite Jewish holidays is called Tu B'Shvat, and this goes all the way back to the Talmud time, which was written between 300 and 500. This holiday began as agricultural tithing, but today is thought of as a Jewish Earth Day, or the birthday of the trees. I spend a lot of my time in the preschool, and when Tu B'Shvat comes around, all of the classrooms sing happy birthday to the trees. It is quite cute. So this holiday normally falls in the time of year, either the end of January or the beginning of February. You see, when this holiday falls in Israel or in California, there are blossoms on the trees and spring is coming. That is not the case here, but here we get excited because we know that spring will come and blossoms will come back. So we do still celebrate that. We have special celebrations that we do, which involve different wines and fruits and vegetables, but mostly it is an opportunity for us to recommit ourselves to protecting the earth. As Reformed Jews, one of our central principles is our obligation to improve the world around us. It is not good enough for us to simply see the world passively and watch it happen. What we are supposed to do instead is do something called tikkun olam. And tikkun olam means that we are supposed to repair the world. This applies to literally protecting the world, but also applies to social justice issues and speaking out. We are supposed to speak up when injustices occur for us and all people, really. Something that I spend a lot of my time doing of late. But really, what we are supposed to do is use our time and our energy and our voices to improve the world around us. So whether it is protecting the earth or any social justice issues, we know that not one single person can change the world. Not one single person can solve large systemic problems. But it takes all of us, bit by bit, little by little, doing our part. There's an expression in the Talmud which we often quote, which says, "Lo alecha halacha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor," which means we are not obligated to finish the task, but neither are we exempt from starting it. Simply put, the little things we do matter. We all can make a difference. We all can help do tikkun olam and make the world better through our daily actions and our daily choices. So today, I took you on a very brief tour of the connection between Judaism and the environment. There are many, many more texts to study and lessons to learn, and I hope I have the opportunity to come back and do some more with you. But one lesson I do want to leave you with today is this idea of lo ahalecha halahag mimor, which means, again, we are not obligated to finish the task, but neither are we exempt from starting it. I truly believe that each of us can make a difference in the little tiny things that we do each and every day. Each of us can make choices that help the earth and help the environment and also help one another. Each of us can inspire one another, and together we can work towards building a more protected, more cared for, and more appreciated environment today and long into the future. Amen.